Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Monday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we have a lot to talk about. The past few days have been very interesting in the NBA. I will say, for the most part, except for yesterday when we had 2 Game 7s that were complete blowouts, which nobody really expected to see that, including myself personally. But also, we should have had a better Game 7 on yesterday, which should have been Memphis and Golden State. Now, that would have been a real Game 7, because I can guarantee you that game wouldn't have been a blowout the way those teams fought tooth and nail throughout the entirety of that series. And I do want to go ahead and send out congratulations to Golden State for moving past Memphis. Will not be a sore loser by any stretch of the imagination. I know you probably all saw my video with Steph Curry flopping, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's a part of the game. If you can get away with it, do it. You know, Memphis shouldn't have been that close in the first place. But at the end of the day, like I said, congratulations to them. You know, Dillon Brooks played a hell of a game 6, hit a lot of big shots. I know a lot of people want Dillon Brooks traded because, you know, he probably takes the second most shots on the team and really isn't what you call a very efficient scorer, so to speak, just because, you know, his specialty is really defense. But won't do a whole lot of talking about the Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors. I should have came on Saturday and did that show, but at the end of the day, you know, your boy's going through a whole lot right now. It's taking a lot of mental tolls on me. So like I said, y'all continue to send out positive vibrations for me as well. Now, again, with all that being said, we can kind of touch on these games that happened on yesterday. Of course, we can touch on the matchups that's going to be coming up, which I think are going to be a lot better than what these last 2 series were. But, you know, just to kind of touch on the Boston and the Milwaukee series, you know, Giannis ran out of gas at the end. Is my overall take is, you know, that Game 7 was just a lot for him to overcome. You saw what the Celtics defense was able to do to the great Kevin Durant, pretty much take him out of the series and finish him off in a sweep. And I, you know, not to make excuses for Milwaukee, but, you know, they were without the services of a Middleton. And, you know, that's a tall task for anybody to go into a game and do it all on your own. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. No superstar, I don't care if you're talking about LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, none of them are winning championships on their own. Of course, nobody is, but I'm talking about without another dominant player. It takes at least 2, in my opinion. If you look back through the history of the entire association, whether you're talking about Bird and McHale, you know, Magic and Kareem, or Magic and Worthy, or, you know, Kobe and Shaq, or LeBron and D-Wade, or whoever you want to look at that's won championships in the past, except for maybe that Pistons team from the mid 2000s, which they just had a great assembly of a lot of great players that had good chemistry and were great on defense. And to me, to be honest, that early 2000s, I think basketball is a lot better now, but I will say a lot of the 90s ball was better than that early 2000s post-Jordan era, because at that time, you still, you know, the influx of talent just wasn't what it is now. I would say as you got into the 2010s and the late 2000s, when some of those draft classes, we all know the talent that came out of those classes, and we all know how the league has developed and changed as far as the scoring prowess and things like that, which we can go on all day about that. We'll have plenty of time to talk about those kind of discussions in the off season. But, you know, basically what that game boiled down to on yesterday with Milwaukee and the Boston Celtics, which ended, man, terribly for Milwaukee, especially if you had money on it, which I did not, thankfully, because I honestly didn't know which way it was going to go leading into it. I figured the Celtics would eventually win that game because it was at home. They did have a home crowd, and also I just knew it was a lot for Giannis to try to continue to do. And he even said that his legs was heavy, everything was heavy. It was just a lot weighing down on him in order to carry that team and do everything that he had to do. But the most interesting stat that I saw in that game on yesterday was, if you look at the 3-pointers, I mean, the Celtics shot 22 out of 55. Yes, I did say 55 3-point attempts. So the Celtics had 55 3-point attempts, whereas Milwaukee only had 33 three-point attempts. And I mean, 33 three-point attempts compared to 55, that is a big discrepancy. And then when you're talking about made three-pointers, the Celtics made 22 of those 55, whereas Milwaukee only made 4. And if you only make 4 three-pointers in the NBA game, especially nowadays, you can go ahead and pack it up and move it on out, because that's pretty much a wrap, especially when the other team is clicking like that. And one thing I will say about the Celtics, which I do want to do a preview of Miami and Boston, which I think is going to be a damn good series. But the way the Celtics were playing, a lot of people were sleeping on them the last 3 months of the season, because the way the Celtics were playing over the last 3 months of the season, I won't say unstoppable, but that defense, when you can play defense the way they play defense, and not only just play defense the way they play defense, but also be able to have the scoring prowess that they have, with that of a Jaylen Brown, with that of a Jason Tatum. We know even Pritchard at times does his thing, hitting those threes, and of course Grant Williams even could light it up at times. So, and play defense. And then you got Marcus Smart, who's defensive specialist and able to hit three-pointers too. So they have a well-rounded team. And right now, you know, I'm just looking like, in my heart of hearts, I'm feeling like it's going to be Boston against Golden State. Now, I know Dallas is looking real good, and I want to say Jason Kidd is looking, to me, like the coach of the year personally. And I know the Lakers are probably just like, damn it, why didn't we sign Jay Kidd? You want to pull his card on some BS that maybe happened some years ago, instead of giving him an opportunity, even though he had already coached in Brooklyn and in Milwaukee and shown early signs of success. And, you know, to be honest, he was on that Lakers bench when they won the championship down in the bubble. He was on that Lakers bench, and I think Frank Vogel was getting a lot of that credit, when that credit really should have been going to that of Jason Kidd, because you can clearly see now the defense. I mean, and I know Phoenix missed a lot of shots on yesterday too. You know, shooting what combined front in the first half alone, what was it, 11 out of 50 or something like that, something crazy. Like, so you can tell the Phoenix defense is definitely, you know, playing a part in this. I mean, Dallas's defense, but at the end of the day, that's a series that I'm looking forward to previewing here in the coming days. Because we got a lot to talk about, because it is basically the NBA's Final Four now. And the NBA right now, it's tough to see. Like before, you could always say, well, you know who's going to be there. Like right now at the beginning of these playoffs, if you would have told me Boston, well, I thought Boston could be there, but not with their path to going through Brooklyn, because to be honest, I thought Brooklyn would, you know, get themselves together and do, you know, what they needed to do in order to advance, especially with the likes of Kyrie and KD, but they didn't have the mental fortitude to get past the defense of Boston. And of course, a lot of those games was close and they was right there, but at the end of the day, Boston has done what they needed to do. Now, I will say that we seen what their defense was able to do to Giannis. We see what their defense was able to do to Kevin Durant, but now we need to see how Jimmy Butler is going to handle this Boston defense, because he is going to look to attack. But if you look at strictly by the numbers aspect of it, strictly from a numbers aspect, the Celtics shoot a lot more threes than Miami, and they have shot a lot more threes. Now the Celtics have been 4-1 on the road in these playoffs, so they're not afraid to go to Miami. But the Miami has been 6-0 at home in these playoffs, so something's gonna have to give. You know, I just feel like that's gonna be a great series. So at the end of the day, we got a lot more to talk about. You know, it's just so amazing to see Al Horford. Glad to see him back, trying to contend for a title after he was just playing for an OKC team last year on the bench and didn't have a lot of takers. But for him to have a reemergence of his career, I think is great. You know, I want to touch on how the Suns, you know, they got a lot of things up in the air now at the end of the season. Like, what are the Suns going to do now that DeAndre Ayton is going to be a restricted free agent? We're going to see if they're going to match any potential offer sheets. They can give him the big money, but will they? He didn't play for a whole lot of minutes yesterday in that Game 7. You know, Chris Paul is only going to get older, where they end up trying to maybe move him. The Phoenix Suns have a lot of questions to answer, so we'll see how they answer those. Hey, who knows? The Lakers could put something together. They're in desperate need of a big man too, because I just don't see Anthony Davis playing center for the Lakers the way that they want him to. But who knows? That's a lot of things that we can talk about in the future, because we got a lot more as we lead into the offseason. But we still got a lot of playoffs to talk about, so don't want to jump to the offseason too soon. Now, put in the comments, everybody knows what Phil Jackson said about LeBron. Put down in the comments below if you want me to make a video touching on that, because I just think it's crazy talk to want to try to trade LeBron James. But of course, everybody said, who knows me and tunes into this channel, knew that that would be my opinion regarding that. But like I said, I won't touch on that now. I got some things I need to handle, so I will come back and make a video of it. Put in the comments if you want me to. Either way, I think I am regardless, but I just want to know, and if so, then I'll probably make it tonight or maybe early in the morning, because if I'm not mistaken, there are no games tonight. It could be a game tonight, but I don't think so. If it is, put that in the comments. I'm just playing. I'm gonna find that out either way. But man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. You know, like I said, keep sending me positive vibrations. Your boy just got a lot going on right now, so I appreciate any kind of words of encouragement, and I want to send out the same to you too. So with all that being said, man, this is your boy B New. I'm just saying, right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm out.